Is your HOA always this fair? Every sunrise, my driveway gate is blocked by her SUV, Gate Creek in the cold air. She calls it a public road, but her permit-backed parking has blocked my truck-killed jobs and mocked every morning I pay that mortgage. Still, I filmed 3 mornings straight, same SUV, same permit number, same gate, until the county's radio click and paper stamp under porch glare turned her privilege into evidence. Anyway, next week, her permit stamped void sits in evidence and my gate finally swings open without asking permission. Every morning at 7 to 12, I hit the opener and the garage door rattles up like it's older than I am. The day doesn't start until somebody's in my way, I tell the empty garage. Cold Nevada air slides under my boots and my tow truck idles in the drive diesel, humming low. Above me, the porch camera gives a soft plastic click as the doorbell wakes up. Loretta, across the street, insisted on that thing I mutter. Said I'd thank her someday. The door lifts just enough for me to see it. Karen's silver SUV parked sideways across my gate. Again. Of course I mutter. Inside, on the little monitor by my fridge, a red dot blinks on and a timestamp locks into place, 07:12 a.m. Same frame as yesterday, I say. Same as the day before. I grab my thermos off the tool bench and step out into the gray light. Tow truck on my left tailpipe breathing white. Gate straight ahead, completely blocked. Morning, I call. Karen's window is cracked just enough for her voice. She looks at me over dark sunglasses. Relax, Hank, she says. It's a public road. It's my gate, I answer, and I've got a job to get to. She doesn't move the car. Instead, she reaches up and taps the plastic sleeve hanging from her rearview mirror. County-issued parking permit, she says, fingernail-ticking the laminate. I'm allowed to be here. The permit swings in the air, catching the morning light. The porch cam gets a perfect shot. So do I. Permit doesn't say you can block my driveway, I say. She gives a little laugh. You can still squeeze around, she says. You've done it before. I've done it before, I say, because I like paying my mortgage. Karen shrugs. Then get moving. You're going to make yourself late standing there complaining. Behind me, the tow truck's dash cam beeps once as it starts recording. REC glows red in the corner of the windshield. See that? I say, nodding toward the truck. Camera's on now. She flicks her eyes past me and shrugs again. I glance at the gap between her bumper and the post and then back at her. Why, here I ask. You've got a driveway. You've got the whole street. School drop-off, she says. I pull in. I walk my niece to the corner. I'm gone. The other parents need room to turn. It's called being considerate. Blocking my gate is considerate, I ask. She sighs. You're making a big deal out of nothing. It's not like you own the road. I don't need to own the road, I reply. I just need to get through my own gate. Karen leans her elbow on the door, settling in like this is her porch. Take it up with the county then, she says. They issued the permit. They know I'm here. I check my watch, then the clock glowing on the truck's dash. 28 minutes, I tell myself. If I'm late, that sedan doesn't pay. Yesterday, I'd rolled into the auction yard 8 minutes behind. I missed the pull because my neighbor parked sideways across my gate, I'd told the manager. Then leave earlier, he'd said, not even looking up from his clipboard. I look back at Karen. Same car, same spot, same answer waiting. You know I lost a job yesterday because of this, I say. She rolls her eyes. That's dramatic. You were going to be late anyway. I was sitting here, I say, pointing at the gravel. Right behind you. Same time, same story. She presses her lips together, but doesn't answer. I hate when somebody else spends my time for me. I say mostly to myself, but loud enough for the porch cam to hear. Behind me, the dash cam's REC icon blinks steady as a heartbeat. All right, I say quietly. You want me to take it up with the county, I will. Her mouth curls. Please do. Maybe they'll explain basic civic rules to you. I walk past her window boots crunching on the gravel. At the gate post I stop, lay my hand on the weathered wood and look straight into the tow truck's lens. Gates blocked at 712, I say. Clear and steady, same SUV, same plate, same spot. Karen snorts. Oh, come on, Hank. That's fine, I say. They can watch the footage, too. She shifts in her seat just a little. It's a public road, Hank, she calls, voice rising. Deal with it. County already knows I'm allowed. By noon, I'd lost 2 jobs. Same reason both times. Gate blocked again. The dispatcher had asked me at 10:17 a.m. Yeah, I'd said. Same SUV. Same time, same spot. He sighed. Hank, you can't keep doing this. By the time I pushed open the door at Pine Diner, I felt like a man walking with sand in his boots, every step heavier than it should be. The place smelled like burnt coffee and bacon grease, the kind of smell that sticks to a small Nevada diner after 40 years. A couple ranchers sat by the window. Old men at the counter argued about carburetors. The ceiling fans clicked in that lazy way they always do. Rob sat in his spot, third booth from the back, reading a folded newspaper like he did every weekday since I moved here. His trucker cap was pulled low, and he lifted exactly one eyebrow when he saw me. You look like hell, he said. I slid into the seat opposite him. Karen parked across my gate again. Morning like clockwork. Lost 2 jobs today because of it. Rob exhaled through his nose, slow. County doesn't care how mad you are, only what you can show. That's supposed to help, I asked. It will. He reached under his newspaper and slid out a thin folded sheet. County Code 57-244. Read it. The page was printed crooked like his old home printer had been wheezing its last breath. At the top, obstruction of driveways. Gates time-based violations. Where'd you get this, I asked. Retired from code enforcement, remember. He tapped the page with a calloused finger. You need a pattern. One off won't cut it. County needs 3 consecutive mornings, preferably with timestamps. I leaned back. I've got the doorbell cam. Good. Frame it right. Show the gate post each time. Don't yell, don't argue, don't touch her car. Just document. That easy, that annoying, he corrected, but legal. County doesn't fight feelings, they fight facts. A waitress topped off Rob's mug. He didn't look at her. He kept his eyes on me. You want to fix this? He said. Start treating it like evidence, not irritation. I rubbed my forehead. She knows she's messing with me. Of course she does, Rob said. People like her don't stop until someone puts paper in front of them. I stared at the code sheet. So, 3 mornings. Yup. And then what? You file a complaint online. Attach the clips. County reviews. If the inspector's awake, they'll open a case. I looked toward the diner window. Outside, across the street, Karen's SUV sat parked at the curb, crooked like she didn't believe in parallel parking. Even from here, I could see the county-issued permit swinging from her mirror. She doesn't miss a beat, does she? I muttered. Rob twisted to see the SUV. She's got attitude, sure, but attitude plus evidence, that's how you beat her. I folded the code sheet carefully and slid it into my jacket. What do I film? I asked. Everything he said. Her approach, the angle of the car, the timestamp, the obstruction. You narrate if you have to. Calm voice. Calm, I repeated. Yes, calm. Because the moment you yell, the county calls it a neighbor feud. The diner door chimed and I glanced up. A woman came in carrying a stack of mail. Not Karen. For a second, I'd hoped she'd show up just so I could glare at her through the window. Rob pushed his mug toward me. You look like you need this. I need my morning back, I said. That too. We sat in silence a moment. A desert sunbeam cut across the formica table, making the code paper glow where it stuck out of my jacket pocket like a warning flag. Rob cleared his throat. "So, tonight?" "Tonight what?" I asked. "You checked the gate again. She parked there last night too, right?" "Yeah," I said. "Right after sunset. Then watch for her. She might do it again." "Why would she?" Rob gave a dry laugh. "Because people who abuse leeway do it more than once." He wasn't wrong. By the time I drove home that evening, I had the doorbell cam streaming on my phone. The image was grainy, but the gate was centered, waiting. The sky dimmed from gold to blue to steel gray. At 6:49 p.m., headlights slid into frame. Karen's SUV. She didn't hesitate. She didn't slow. She pulled right across my gate like she owned the dirt under her tires. "Unbelievable," I whispered. I stepped out of my truck, hit the sidewalk, and without a single word reached into my pocket and pressed the rec button on my phone. The screen blinked red. Karen didn't look at me. She shut the car door with a careless flick of her wrist and strolled down the sidewalk toward her niece's house. I kept my voice steady low even. Gate blocked. Evening. Same vehicle, same permit. The phone picked it all up, the crunch of gravel, the hum of her cooling engine. My pocket buzzed. A text from Rob. "Next morning, just record." I stared at the message, then at Karen's car, then at my gate. "Yeah," I whispered. "Next morning. 3 mornings. 3 videos. Same SUV angled across my gate like it was part of her morning routine." I stood in my small office above the tow yard, blinds half open, early Nevada light cutting long slashes across my desk. My laptop hummed like it knew what was coming. Every clip, every timestamp, every frame where Karen's SUV sat exactly where it shouldn't. Loretta had come by with coffee. She cupped her hands around the mug as she watched me line up the footage. "You really got all 3, she asked. "Morning 1. 07:12. I said, dragging the file into a new folder. "Morning 2, 07:11. "Morning 3, 07:13. "Look, permit number in frame each time." Loretta leaned closer. She taps that permit at me too, like she's swearing it in. I exhaled. Rob was right. Patterns everything. My phone buzzed. "Rob, that permit number ties everything back to her. Make sure it's readable in the screenshots." I typed back, "Already on it." Loretta slid another clip over. "Here's the angle from my porch cam. You can see the whole block." "Perfect," I said, pausing on the frame where Karen's SUV blocked every inch of the gate. "This one shows the gatepost clean. County loves that." "You think they'll actually do something? I'm giving them the evidence they ask for," I muttered. "If they ignore it, that's on them." I highlighted the permit. The laminate was starting to curl at the corners from heat, almost like the truth underneath was pushing through. Prop number 2 cracking into evidence. I took screenshots. Permit, close-up, gate obstruction, timestamp, angle from driveway, angle from Loretta. My desktop looked like a crime board, just less dramatic and a lot more dusty. "Okay," I said. "Time to file." I opened the county portal. The interface looked like it hadn't been updated since dial-up. Still, I clicked Submit Complaint and began uploading the files. Reason for complaint: obstruction of driveway/gate recurring. 3 consecutive mornings. Evidence: 5 clips, 8 screenshots, 1 statement. Before hitting send, I added a line. Vehicle displays county-issued permit number A70V79321. Rob had said that would matter. Paper trail to her. I clicked Submit. The screen blinked once, then twice, then loaded a confirmation. Case MAR444902 received. Loretta let out a breath. Well, That's something. It's the start, I said. But even as the relief settled, something tugged at me. The kind of tug you get right before a storm. Loretta gathered her things. I'll email you a copy of my cam footage. Thanks, I said. Couldn't have done this without you. Just want the gate clear, she said, heading toward the stairs. The whole street's tired of her. I sat back down. My inbox pinged again another confirmation email. I didn't open it yet. I needed a second to just breathe. When I finally walked out to my truck, something white was tucked under my windshield wiper. At first I thought it was junk mail or some diner coupon. Nope. Karen's handwriting. Big, sharp letters. Stop harassing me. I know what you're doing. This isn't over. I stood there, wind scraping dust across my boots. She must have dropped it minutes ago. The ink was still fresh. I looked down the street. No sign of her SUV. Rob picked up on the first ring. She left a note. I said, reading it again. What's it say? Stop harassing me. She thinks documentation is harassment now. Rob's voice hardened. Do not respond to her. Do not write back. Do not knock on her door. County just got your complaint. You stay clean. This feels like she's trying to flip the script. That's what people do when the paper trail starts pointing at them. I folded the note, slid it into an evidence folder, and took a picture of it against my dashboard timestamp visible. You think County will move fast? I asked. They move slow, Rob said. But they move. I got in the truck still holding the phone. The sun was hitting the horizon, turning the road orange. My email notification buzzed again. Hank Rob asked, You still there? Yeah, I said, opening the new email. One line. Cold, direct, government plane. Case No. 44902. Officer assigned. I stared at it. Things were officially in motion now, and Karen had no idea how much trouble her permit had just walked her into. By noon, the sun had turned the asphalt outside my gate into a griddle. A county cruiser rolled up, dust pluming behind it. The deputy climbed out like a man who'd rather be anywhere else. I stepped toward him. Thanks for coming. He squinted at the gate, then at Karen's SUV parked again across it, then at the permit swinging from her mirror like a smug little pendulum. So, he said, What's the issue? I blinked. She blocks my gate every morning. I've sent the videos. I've filed the complaint. Case number 44902. He shrugged, writing nothing down. Looks like a neighbor dispute. A neighbor dispute? I repeated. She parks sideways across my gate at 7 to 12 a.m. every morning. I can't get my tow truck out. I've lost jobs. He tipped his sunglasses down. She has a permit. That permit is for county parking zones, I said. Not someone's gate. Still, he said, I don't see this as a violation right now. It happens in the morning, I said. At the same time, every day. Well, I'm not here in the morning, he said already, turning back toward his cruiser. Nothing I can cite at this moment. My hands tightened at my sides. The desert heat pressed on my shoulders like a bag of sand. So, you're saying I need to catch you at the exact minute she does it, I'm saying? The deputy said, pulling his door open without witnessing the obstruction myself. I can't take action. Karen appeared at the end of the sidewalk, sunglasses on, iced drink in hand. She smiled, wide, bright, the kind of smile someone gives when they think they're winning. Oh, good, she called. You explained it to him. The deputy shrugged in her direction. Just a misunderstanding. She gave me a slow, almost lazy nod. Told you. The deputy left. Karen stood there another second, sipping her drink like it was victory itself, then walked back toward her SUV. I watched her go, jaw clenched hard enough to ache. My phone buzzed Rob. Well, I typed back with 2 thumbs, my hands still shaking from frustration. Deputy shrugged it off. Called it a neighbor dispute. Rob replied instantly. You need the right officer at the right time. Not noon. Morning, 7:15. Force them to witness it. I stared at the gate, its shadow stretched across the gravel like a long accusation. Force them to witness it. Back in my office, the air conditioner rattled like it was dying and my shirt was still damp from the heat. I opened my laptop, pulled up the county email from case number 44902, and clicked reply. I typed slowly at first, then faster as the words lined themselves into something sharp. Subject request for on-site inspection. Case number 44902, time 7:15 a.m. Routine. Obstruction hour, message. The obstruction of my gate occurs at the same time each morning approx. 07/12/07/15. Respectfully requesting an on-site inspection at 7:15 a.m. to allow the assigned officer to witness the ongoing violation. Evidence attached again for convenience: videos, screenshots, timestamps. I attached the files, clicked send, watched the cursor spin like the whole system was thinking it over. The reply came faster than I expected. 2 minutes, maybe less. Inspection notice. Thursday, 7:15 a.m. confirmed. I leaned back in my chair, letting out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. This was it, the moment the county would finally have to acknowledge what was happening. I printed the notice. The paper was warm and smelled faintly like toner proof the system was starting to move. I pinned it above my desk. Thursday, 7:15 a.m. Official eyes on the gate. I stepped outside to tape a copy near the mailbox just to remind myself this was real. That's when I saw her. Karen leaned against her SUV, swirling the last of her drink. She watched me tape the notice like she was watching someone hang their own wish list on a tree. "You excited?" she asked. "Just making sure the county sees what's going on." She tilted her head. "Inspection at..." "What, 7:15? "That's right." She gave a small, smug laugh. "Let's see if your supervisor even shows." Supervisor. She said it like she already knew the ending, like she'd already rehearsed her lines. I folded my arms. They confirmed. "Sure," she said, slipping into her SUV. "Let's see if confirmation means anything." She shut her door. The click echoed across the driveway louder than it should have. She backed out without looking, dust kicking around her tires, and disappeared down the road. I stared at the inspection notice taped to the mailbox, fluttering slightly in the hot wind. "Thursday," I whispered. "You're going to be here to see it." The gate loomed behind me, silent, stubborn, patient. It felt like the whole street was holding its breath. At 7:12 a.m., the porch cam clicks on and the timestamp burns itself into the bottom corner of the frame. Same as yesterday. Same as the day before. Karen's SUV is already there, parked sideways across my gate like it's part of the landscape. I stand in the open garage, tow truck idling behind me, diesel rumbling low. The sky over the desert is still more purple than blue, the sun just brushing the tops of the trailers down the road. "Morning," I say to nobody. Then louder, Loretta. "You getting this?" Across the street, her blinds twitch. A second later, my phone buzzes. Yep, door cam rolling. Same angle as yesterday. I step out onto the gravel. The truck's dash cam beeps once as I tap the button rec glowing red in the corner of the windshield. "That's 3 cameras, I say quietly. "You picked the wrong morning, Karen." She's in the driver's seat, sunglasses already on, even though the sun hasn't cleared the roofs yet. She glances at me, then at the gate she's blocking completely. "You're up early," she says. "Inspection's at 7:15, I reply. "County's coming to see this." "Oh," that she says, almost bored. "We'll see if they bother." She reaches up with 2 fingers and flicks the laminated permit hanging from her mirror like a little pendulum. "County parking permit," she says. "Issued, signed, and logged." That permit doesn't say "block Hank's gate every morning." I answer. She shrugs. Public road. I'm allowed to be here. Behind me, the tow truck's idle deepens. I can feel the minutes draining away the same way they have for weeks, except this time I'm not just a man muttering in his driveway. This time the county has a case number with my name on it. Gravel crunches to my left. Loretta steps out onto her porch robe, tied phone held horizontal. He'll see the same pattern as yesterday, she says loud enough for the mic to catch. That's the idea, I reply. 2 more doors open up the street. A neighbor in a flannel jacket. Another in work boots with a coffee mug. They drift closer, not too close, just enough to be witnesses without having to say the word. At the far corner, a man in a polo shirt and lanyard stands stiffly next to a compact car. He's clutching a laminated sheet that says Pine Ridge Parking Guidelines in big, bold letters. The HOA repee? Of course. He clears his throat. These rules he calls over apply to everyone, including you, Hank. I'm not the one blocking a gate. I answer. He presses the sheet to his chest like it's a shield and doesn't come any nearer. My phone vibrates in my pocket. A notification slides across the screen, County Enforcement Dispatch. New audio message. I tap to play it on speaker. A calm, clipped voice fills the quiet morning. County Enforcement Unit 3, responding to Case 44902, reported morning obstruction. Every head on the street turns at the same time toward the bend where my road meets the county lane. Nothing yet. Just sunrise glare and the distant hiss of a truck on the highway. Karen laughs softly. You really went all out, didn't you? You went all out first, I say. I just hit record. She leans an elbow against her window frame. They'll see a car parked like 100 others. They're not going to redesign the world for your little tantrum. Not asking for a redesign, I reply. Just access to my own gate. The HOA rep lifts his rules sheet. According to Section Save It, Loretta cuts in. We've all heard your sections. Maybe let the county talk for once. He closes his mouth, color rising in his cheeks, and lowers the page a few inches. I walk to the front of Karen's SUV and stand sideways so both the dash cam and the porch cam catch me and the blockage in the same frame. This is every morning I say calm and clear. Between 7:12 and 7:15. Same vehicle, same permit, same obstruction. Karen rolls her eyes. You're being dramatic. Loretta speaks from her porch. My footage has all 3 mornings labeled. Yesterday, you parked at 7-Eleven. Day before 7:13. It's a pattern, Karen. The HOA rep shifts his weight grip, tightening on his paper. There are children walking to school, and none of them enter Hank's driveway. Loretta cuts in again. They use the sidewalk. You know that. A distant engine note grows louder. A white SUV appears at the bend, slowing as it approaches. Blue county emblem on the side. Light bar dark for now. My chest tightens not with panic but with something sharper. This is the moment everything either turns or doesn't. Karen looks over her shoulder, then back at me. She says, They actually came. The county SUV rolls closer. My phone buzzes again as the dash cam logs a new file. REC glows steady. The porch cam's red light mirrors it from behind me. The SUV eases to a stop just past my mailbox. For a second, nobody moves. Engine still on. Windows up. Loretta whispers, He's looking. You can see him looking. The HOA rep licks his lips, folding his rules sheet in half, then in half again. The driver's side door of the county SUV opens with a heavy hydraulic thud. One polished black boot steps down, then another. The light bar on top clicks softly, then flashes to life in a slow, deliberate pulse. The officer straightens, adjusts his belt, and surveys the scene. My blocked gate, Karen's SUV, the neighbors, the cameras. His gaze lands on me and stays there. He closes the door with a firm, final sound that cuts through the morning. "Show me the gate," he says. Officer Price walks toward Karen's SUV with the slow, deliberate steps of someone who does this for a living every day, every hour, yet still gives each case the weight it deserves. His boots crunch the gravel, the sound sharp in the cold desert morning. He stops 3 feet from her front bumper. Distance from the gate, he asks without turning. "Blocked," I say. "Completely." He nods once, then crouches, measuring the space with his eyes the way a mechanic sizes up a bent frame. The gate behind me is locked in place, metal rails catching the sunrise like orange blade edges. Price straightens, takes out a small handheld scanner, and presses a button. Beep. The sound is clean, official, final. Karen leans out her window, sunglasses still on. "Officer, I have a permit. You can scan it all you want. That doesn't make this illegal." Price doesn't respond immediately. He walks around the SUV, checking angles, checking clearance, checking the fact that there is absolutely none. Another beep. Then another. He looks at me. This obstruction is consistent with what time? 7:12 every morning, I say. Loretta steps up behind me. I have door cam footage. 3 mornings, same timestamps, same position. Karen scoffs. She sits around filming people. "How's that evidence?" Price holds up his palm. "Ma'am, let me work." Karen crosses her arms. "I already told you public road." "You're not being cited for using a road," Price replies. "You're being reviewed for obstructing access to a private gate on documented routine." The HOA rep steps forward, clutching his rules sheet. "Officer, the HOA guidelines, actually." Price doesn't even look at him. HOA guidelines don't supersede county obstruction code. The man slowly slides the paper back against his chest. Price gestures. "Mr. Hank, show me your footage." I open my phone. The screen lights my palm as the desert wind blows a thin cloud of dust across our shoes. I hit play. REC 07 12 SUV across gate. REC 07 13 SUV across gate. REC 07 12 SUV across gate. 3 mornings. 3 identical obstructions. 3 timestamps like matching fingerprints. Price watches without blinking. His face doesn't change, but the set of his shoulders does just a little enough to tell me the pattern is real to him now. Evident. Undeniable. He lifts his radio. "Dispatch Unit 3. Case 44902. Pattern confirmed on site." My phone buzzes at the same time. Rob. If she blocks this morning, she's done. Price turns to Karen's window. "Ma'am, I need to see your permit." She exhales loudly like he just asked her to donate a kidney. It's on the mirror. "You've seen it. I need it in my hand." She hesitates. That's new. For the first time in weeks, she hesitates. Finally, she unhooks the permit and hands it out the window. Price takes it between 2 fingers, holds it up to the light, then places it on his scanner. The beep this time is longer, lower, a dragging electronic note that seems to stretch over the entire street. Karen frowns. "What was that?" Price looks down at the screen. "This permit is issued for designated county parking zones, not private drive obstruction. The registration number shows repeated misuse. Misuse," she repeats as if the word insults her. "Documented misuse," he says. He takes a pen from his breast pocket, flips open a thin county clipboard and writes a short note, his handwriting precise, practiced, final. Then he says the words I've been waiting to hear, but never believed I would. "Ma'am, your county-issued parking permit is revoked. Effective immediately." Karen laughs once, short, nervous. "No, you can't just..." Price holds up the permit so she can see it. Then he stamps it with a red mark that slams darker through the plastic void. The HOA rep's mouth drops open. Loretta gasps softly. A neighbor mutters, "About time." Karen shakes her head. "You can't take that. It's county property," Price says calmly. "And it's now evidence." He slides the permit into a clear evidence sleeve, presses the seal shut, and pockets it. Karen stares at him, eyes darting between the sleeve and his face. Her voice catches. I parked like everyone else." "No," Price says evenly. "You parked across his gate every morning, intentionally. Documented." She opens her mouth, then closes it. Frozen. Price finishes filling out his form, tears off the yellow copy, and hands it to her through the window. "This is your notice. No more parking here, not with or without a permit." He turns to me. His tone shifts less official, more human. "You can use your gate now." I look at the empty air between the SUV and the metal rails, a space that's never been empty at this hour. Not once. I swallow hard. "Thank you, officer." He nods. "Just doing my job, and you did yours documenting it." Behind him, the neighbors watch silently. Karen looks straight ahead, hands fixed on the wheel, sunglasses no longer hiding the defeat in her posture. Loretta whispers beside me, "You got her, Hank?" Finally. The evidence sleeve in Price's pocket glints once in the rising sun. Void. Finally real. The next morning feels wrong, not in the way the last few weeks have felt wrong, but in the way a room feels when the noise suddenly stops. My garage door hums upward, the metal rising into the soft dawn like it's stretching awake. And the first thing I notice is the silence. No SUV across my gate, no bumper angled sideways, no laminated permit swinging from a rearview mirror like a taunt. Just the gate, and the gravel, and the open road. I step forward slowly, like I'm afraid the air might break the spell. Loretta is already standing on her porch, arms folded tight in front of her chest, robe tied high like she's watching a sunrise she doesn't want to trust yet. "You seeing this?" I call out. She raises her phone and snaps a photo. Driveway's clear. Hank, first time in, what, a month? Feels like longer. I walk the short stretch to the gate, run a hand along the metal rail, still cool from the night. The sunrise catches its edge in a soft, orange line. My boots crunch the gravel in a way they haven't been allowed to for weeks. The absence, this simple nothing, is louder than any argument Karen ever threw at me. Behind me, the tow truck's engine purrs like it's relieved too. Loretta says county memo hit everyone's inbox at 5:30. HOA got it. I got it. Probably your HOA rep too. I pull out my phone, flick open my email. There it is. County Enforcement Bulletin. Driveway Obstruction Policy. Clarification. I skim the lines. Enforceable. Documented obstruction. Morning patterns. Revocation authority upheld. The words blur for a second, not from emotion, just from the oddness of finally being the one backed by the county instead of brushed off. "You ready to test the road?" Loretta asks. I nod, climb into the tow truck, and ease it into drive. For the first time in weeks, the road opens like it's welcoming me instead of daring me to squeeze through an impossible angle. Tires roll forward. No scraping, no inching, no forced detours, just a clean, straight exit. It feels like breathing right after someone gets off your chest. When I return 10 minutes later, the neighborhood is awake. A few neighbors stand near their mailboxes, not talking, just watching the morning like it has a different color now. Then Karen's door opens. She steps out, slowly, sunglasses in hand instead of on her face. She looks smaller than usual, like the heat isn't propping up her attitude today. Her SUV is parked neatly in her own driveway, centered straight, compliant. No weird angles, no blocking anything. She walks to her mailbox holding something between two fingers. For a moment, I can't see what it is. Then the sun catches the plastic sleeve. The void permit. She looks at it, a long second thumb pressing the laminated corner, the red void stamp dark as dried blood against the plastic. She glances up the street, first at Loretta, who doesn't look away, then at the neighbors, then at me. Her posture shifts shoulders, not quite curled inward, not quite squared, like she's caught in the middle of deciding who she wants to be now that she can't hide behind a permit. She lifts the evidence sleeve chest high like she's thinking of explaining something, but no words come. She lowers it, turns, and slides it into her trash bin with a slow, deliberate motion. The lid closes with a soft thud. The neighborhood tilts in that moment just slightly, like the balance resets all at once and everyone feels it. The HOA rep walks by holding a clipboard full of marked-up guidelines. He keeps his head down when he passes me. "We're revising Section 9, he murmurs. "Effective today." "Good," I say. Karen stands beside her trash bin, one hand still touching the lid like she might lift it again. Her hair shifts in the morning breeze. She looks at me not hard, like before, not cold, not victorious, just uncertain. She takes a small step toward the sidewalk, then stops. She opens her mouth, closes it, then tries again. She starts, voice quiet. Then nothing. I don't move. I don't help her. I don't fill in the silence. She swallows, eyes flicking to the spot her SUV used to occupy every morning, then back to me. She doesn't apologize. Not exactly. But something in her posture softens, like she's doing the math on everything she lost and everything she almost ruined. She turns back toward her door. That's when I say it, not loud, not sharp, but steady, the way a door sounds when it latches cleanly. "About time." She pauses, breathes, then keeps walking. Loretta whispers from her porch. "Well said." Two neighbors nod subtly, hands in pockets, morning light catching the quiet approval on their faces. Not applause, just recognition. That kind of echo means more. The street feels different, less narrow, less tense, less coiled. I look at the gate, wide open. For the first time in forever, it feels like mine again. For the first morning in weeks, the gate opens without a fight. Garage door up, truck idling, road clear. No SUV angled sideways, no permit swinging like a smug badge. Just desert light spilling across my gravel, clean and simple. I stand there a second longer than I need to, hand resting on the gate like I'm checking it's still real. Then I swing it open. No squeeze, no tight breath, no calculation about whether I can make the turn. The hinge moves smooth, like that's what it was built for all along. On the passenger seat of the truck sits a stack of paper I stayed up late formatting. Title, bold, at the top of the first page. How to handle driveway obstruction legally. It's nothing fancy. Just Rob's code references, some screenshots, and plain language steps for anyone who's ever had their gate blocked and been told to just live with it. I tap the stack once with my fingertips. Let's see if this actually helps somebody, I tell the empty cab. The drive into town feels shorter now that I'm not starting the day angry. Asphalt rolls under my tires. The county sign blurs past. The diner's faded neon coffee sign flickers like it always does. Inside Pine Diner, the air is thick with bacon coffee and the low murmur of men who've been coming here since before I learned to drive. Rob is in his usual booth, third from the back, coffee in hand, reading the newspaper like it still decides how the world works. He looks up when he hears the bell. "You look lighter," he says. "Gate opened on the first try," I answer. Quiet. Clean. He nods once. Good. I slide into the booth across from him and put the stack of papers between us. "What's this?" he asks. Started as notes so I wouldn't forget the steps, I say. Turned into a guide. He flips the first page. Driveway obstruction code. Morning pattern documentation. How to request an inspection at the right time. He whistles softly. You went thorough. Figured I already did the homework, I say. Might as well share it. A waitress tops off our mugs. She glances at the stack. That another fight with the HOA, she asks. No, I say. It's what happens after. Rob smiles at that small but real. At the front of the diner, the old wooden bulletin board hangs crooked on the wall, edges softened by years of thumbtacks and sunlight. Lost dog flyers, yard sale notices, church chili cook-off. Half the town's life layered in curling paper. I pick up the stack, leaving 2 copies with Rob. You think anyone will read it? I ask. They'll read the parts they need, he says. That's enough. I walk up to the board. The floor creaks under my boots. A couple of the regulars glance over their coffee mugs. What you got there? Hank, one of them, asks. Something I wish I'd had a month ago. I pin the top copy to open space on the board. The paper sags slightly, then holds. Title stares back at me in big black letters. How to handle driveway obstruction legally. Under it, I've listed steps simple and blunt. 1. Document the pattern. 2. Stay calm on camera. 3. File with evidence. 4. Demand the right inspection time. 5. Let the system do what it's supposed to do. A man in a denim jacket comes closer, squints at the text, then taps the second bullet with a grease-stained finger. Should have had this last year, he mutters. Lady down our road blocked the feed truck for 3 weeks. Sheriff just said to work it out. Now you've got options, I say. He nods, slow, like he's filing that away somewhere important. Thanks, he adds. This'll help, folks. Another man grunts in agreement from his seat at the counter. Nice to see the county actually backing someone who did it right for once. Rob calls from the booth. Told you. County doesn't care how loud you yell, just what you can show. Someone by the window chuckles. Guess Hank just taught the rest of us how to show it. The bell above the door rings again. I turn, half expecting a stranger, but it's not. It's Karen's SUV sliding past outside, visible through the diner's front windows. She doesn't stop. She doesn't swing across anyone's gate. She just drives by, eyes forward, both hands on the wheel, car lined up neatly with the lane. No permit dangling from the mirror. Just an ordinary vehicle doing exactly what it's supposed to do. For the first time, there's no weight in my chest when I see her. Just distance. Just boundary. Rob follows my gaze. She saw the memo, he says. She saw the consequences, I reply. He nods once. Same thing in the long run. I finish my coffee, leave a tip under the saucer, and head back out into the desert light. The air smells like dust and possibility. The truck door groans as I climb in familiar worn mine. The drive home is quiet. No tightness in my grip on the wheel. No silent arguments rehearsed in my head. Just the road. When I pull up to my place, the sight still hits me fresh. Gate. Open. Nothing in front of it but morning. I step out, boots on gravel, and walk to the metal rail. The sun's higher now, heating the steel under my palm. Loretta waves from her porch, then points at the empty space where Karen's SUV used to live. Looks good on you, she calls. A clear gate. Feels good, I answer. I stand there a moment longer, looking down the length of my driveway, the simple stretch of gravel that caused so much trouble just because someone decided to sit across it and dare me to live around her. Not today. Not anymore. I rest both hands on the gate, breathe in the dry, clean air, and say it out loud this time, more for me than anyone else, but loud enough for Loretta and the fence line and whoever else might be listening. Finally, someone fought back. I say the right way. The morning light hit my gate cleanly, and for the first time nothing stood in front of it, not her SUV, not that void-stamped permit she dropped in the trash. At Pine Diner, the guide I posted on the bulletin board sat under a fresh county notice, and folks nodded like the system finally remembered what due process looks like. I realized this wasn't just about a driveway. It was about showing a quiet street that boundaries can be defended without shouting. Justice isn't loud. It's steady. Finally, someone fought back, and maybe the next neighbor won't have to fight alone.